It is episode 44 of the Weekly Take podcast, and I am your host, Dominic Joseph, and we are here with episode 44. It is today, September 23rd, 2019, and we are now entering into week 4 of, or technically week 5 of the regular season in the NFL. No, we're entering the week 4. I am sorry. We're not moving that quick. So, before we get started, I'd like to get started with a player in that wore the particular number that we are on. So we are on episode 44, and I have a player who played for the Los Angeles Lakers. He averaged 27 points, 5.8 rebounds, 6.7 total assists, and averaged a 47% field goal range. For those of you guys who not know what field goal range is, it means like how your percentage of shots you've made and shot. He's 6'2", 175 pounds, and he's the only player in the NBA to ever win the MVP, like the finals MVP, while their team lost. So say I won the finals and I was playing against LeBron James. LeBron James would win MVP. That's what it would be. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to think who this is. I'll give you a hint. He's white, and he is the NBA logo. If you guessed Jerry West of the Los Angeles Lakers, you are correct. That is who our honorable mention is for the episode number for episode 44. He wore number 44 and played for the Los Angeles Lakers. Another one of my favorite players that wears 44 is Kyle Juszczyk. He played for the Baltimore Ravens. He's the fullback, but he's also the current fullback for the San Francisco 49ers. He actually had a big truck this week on Mika Fitzpatrick on the Steelers. Pretty cool to see as a Ravens fan. Even cooler to see Kyle Juszczyk is doing great things in San Francisco. Before we get into anything, I actually have a classmate who is in my communications class here at college, and I want to ask him a couple things about what is going on in the NFL and what his take is. So if you guys wouldn't mind listening to this conversation, we are going to be discussing 3 things on the call. We are going to be discussing New England, and their 3-0 prominence, Kyle Allen, and our favorite 3-0 team so far. It will not be a long phone call, but if you guys will join us, that would be great. So I'm going to give him a call right now. I think it's working.
Hello.
Hello, Alan. What's going on, man? We're here on the show.
Not much. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah. So a brief introduction. We actually met here at Wazoo. It's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, we did. We met sharing a 102 class together.
Yeah.
So it's been a heck of a time.
Yeah, man. So let's get right into it, man. Like I was saying, what's going on with New England, man? They're 3-0. Do you trust them right now? Do you not trust them? What's going on?
Well, I'll put it this way right now. I would say, they have a really dominant defense going into this the first 3 weeks of the season. Going back to even to the Super Bowl, they've gone 4 straight games without allowing a touchdown. And they're actually, I was reading a stat, they're the first team since 1951 to have 5 straight games going back to the AFC Championship against the Chiefs to have 5 straight first half shutouts.
Oh, wow.
So I'm confident that the defense is going to be really, is going to be good this year. It's all going to be about how the offense performs. And to be honest, it's just going to come down to, who stays healthy. If that defense stays healthy, they have a chance of being really special this year. If injuries do pop up, we'll have to see how it goes then.
I think, New England, the thing is, everyone has always been saying Brady, Brady, Brady. But like you were saying, right now it's the defense is kind of the highlight. If you give Brady that defense, I've never really been a New England guy, but to see that's dangerous,
Exactly. And you know what? They have a great defense this year, but also I think an underrated portion that we might see later on once, post Thanksgiving comes up is going to be they have a dominant run game, that's highlighted by Sony Michel,
Yes.
James White. They got that 3rd round rookie, Damian Harris from Bama. So they're going to have a good contributing part to it. And, I know the headlines right now are supposed to be how AB was with the team. They didn't look as coordinated on offense without him there, but I think that's just going to be because it's, it was the Jets. They did play Miami, which, I mean, let's just be honest here. Miami really isn't even looking like it
Nothing.
could beat a collegiate football team.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. So New England so far played Pittsburgh, Miami, and the Jets. Three, I would say Pittsburgh's not terrible, but the other two teams, without Darnold, Jets. But your guys is the division doesn't look too scary, other than Buffalo. Are you scared of Buffalo?
Actually, Buffalo is a team that really intrigues me. They
Mm-hmm.
have the eighth overall offense in the league, and they have the sixth best defense.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen is looking like he could be, a long-time starter in this league. I know a lot of people were really on him going into the draft because of his low completion percentage and the fact that he really wasn't making throws and he was just using his legs. But he's been a really good pocket passer these first 3 weeks. Granted, it's been against the Jets, the Giants, and the Bengals. But you know what? It's still improvement, given that it's his it's his second year.
Yeah, dude. One of my buddies actually, he's a kind of a Buffalo fan, and I don't know what he's feeling. Like he's probably feeling mixed emotions with Josh Allen right now. Josh Allen's always been that guy. He's easy to scapegoat, but sometimes he kind of balls out. To be honest with you, so
Exactly.
my other question I had for you is, I know you probably don't give too much attention to New York, knowing how much they've probably disappointed you as a New England fan, but what's your thoughts on Daniel Jones?
I actually, I do try and pay attention a little bit to New York because I normally like to see them lose a little bit. But in terms of Daniel Jones, his performance against Tampa Bay was impressive to say the least. The fact of the matter that they were down at halftime to Tampa, 28-10, and he led that comeback and showed poise. It really was something to watch. Granted, Tampa's defense really has a lot of work to do, but that's a defense that's coached by Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians, who have a really good reputation in this league. So, I mean, the sky is high for him, but let's see how it goes against more quality opponents.
Yeah, we'll definitely see, and then we'll definitely see a lot more of him with Saquon out. Say if Saquon's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, we're definitely going to see a lot of Daniel Jones.
Exactly, and I think a lot of people do have to realize too is that he did play most of that game without Saquon.
Yeah,
So it wasn't like they made the comeback and then Saquon went down. He did most of that work without him.
yeah.
So that's just even going to be more interesting to see how he performs when Saquon comes back.
It kind of looked like I know you probably watched last year when Baker first came in for Cleveland. The team just looked like they tried a little bit harder. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think a good portion of this is you're going to have that team that's looking at Daniel Jones right now. And if they were down 28-10 with Eli, they're looking at that score and being like, we've seen this before, and they're not really going to try that much. Daniel Jones provides some hope that hasn't been there in New York for the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fresh for New York. I'm excited to see it as a football fan. But my one last thing I want to ask you, so there's five 3-0 teams in the league: Kansas City,
Yep.
49ers, New England, Buffalo, and technically Detroit is an undefeated team if you don't count the tie. Who's your favorite team? Like, not, no bias. Put your bias aside. Who do you think is going to go the farthest and why?
You know what, to be honest, looking at all of these undefeated teams, my favorite actually, and like I said, this is where it's really going to come down to.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite right now has to be Buffalo.
Okay.
I think this coming week against New England is really going to show where Buffalo stands as a 3-0 team. If they can hold up with New England or even win the game, I think they have a really good chance of making a stand in the AFC East, which has normally just been dominated by New England.
Mm-hmm.
However, if New England kind of goes in there and mops the floor with them like they have been with these recent opponents, then we might look at Buffalo as saying, are they really that good, or are they just playing up to mediocre competition?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm really excited to see Buffalo. Out of the 5, I think Kansas City, after they kind of, took apart Baltimore like that. Baltimore has a really good defense, but my favorite personally, I want to see the 49ers do good because they're 3. It's really cool to see them 3-0, but I don't know how long that's going to go. You know what I mean? They've played Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh so far. And Tampa Bay's
I would say
terrible.
this. Yeah, they've got San Francisco is, they're a really good case of being 3-0. It's the first time they've been 3-0 since '98. But the way that their success is going to ride and die with the play calling of Kyle Shanahan,
Yes.
and if Jimmy Garoppolo can stop throwing interceptions, because to be honest, that game yesterday against Pittsburgh, they really shouldn't have won that game, and it was the fact that their defense really held up in the second half and secured San Francisco the win because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't playing very good the first half, and so they got to really clean up some stuff there. But hey, they're also an exciting 3-0 team. Every 3-0 team has a lot to look
Yes.
positive about, but every 3-0 team has something that they can improve upon as well.
Yeah, I think Detroit even beating Philly, that was pretty like I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest with you. I had no idea Detroit had that in them. And I'm not saying Philly's like the greatest team right now, but I definitely thought Philly would, mop the floor with Detroit at least.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I didn't really think they had a chance either. I know it. We kind of, some people were sitting and thinking Detroit had a chance because Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson were going to be out, but they did go into hostile territory in Philly and they did pull out the win, and they were, they led the entire time too. That Detroit team looks a little bit different this year than in years previous. Matt Patricia looks like he's really fitting in there after a really hard first year, so it's kind of good to see them getting some success in because normally these are games they lose. Detroit
Yes.
isn't really known for winning these hard games. So
Yeah, that was really huge, especially coming from the Belichick side of things. I'm pretty sure he's used to that winning. Alan, so let me ask you: is there anything you want to let anyone know that's listening right now? Where they could find you, where anything? Because I plan to have you on the show more often, calling you more, and because I really like the way you put it things. So where could people find you, man?
well, I don't really do a lot of social media, but if people do want to find me on Facebook, my name is Alan Lester, ALLENLEISTR, or you can follow my Twitter. It's at Goldhawk87. But yeah, no, I would definitely enjoy coming back on here and talking some more sports and
Hell
anything else
yeah.
you got going on.
Hell yeah,
So
man! This was awesome, dude. It's really cool to see the refreshing. I mean, other than my cousins that know football and my friends that know football, it's really cool to talk football with someone. So I'll definitely keep you updated, man. Thank you so much for for being on the show, man.
no problem, man. Thanks for inviting me on, Dom.
Yep, have a great one, man. I'll see you Wednesday, I believe. I think that's when we have class.
All right,
All right,
man. You
man.
take care.
Later.
Later.
Man, that's a cool guy right there, man. If you guys forgot how to spell his name, it is ALLENLEISTER. I believe that's what I have in my phone, and I hope that's what it is. Football, man. It's a crazy thing, and it connects people throughout anywhere. So let's get right to it. We actually a week late. I didn't do last week's episode, and I apologize for that. But we are back at it, talking about week 3 in the playoffs, or not playoffs. Week 3 in the NFL season. God, come on, Dom, get your stuff together. No teams are on bye. We first started off with Gardner Minshew's led Jacksonville Jaguars winning 20-7 against the Marcus Mariota's Titans. What do I think about this game? This was last Thursday. Gardner Minshew's balling out. Gardner Minshew is doing great, and I'm not biased just because I'm a Wazoo fan. I think he's doing a fantastic job, and I think the team just likes him. Gardner Minshew's the most famous guy in the world right now, at least in the country. But the Titans' defense looked a little promising, but if you're letting up 20 points, it's still a good defensive showing. It was just the weather wasn't the greatest to Marcus Mariota's defense in the rain. But I think the Jaguars did a pretty good win here. Moving into the next games, so the 10 a.m. games over here on the Pacific Standard Time, we had the Cincinnati Bengals at the Bills. Bills winning 21-17. Again, they're another 3-0 team. The Bills have played, again, they have played the Jets, the Giants, and the Bengals. That's 3 pretty good wins. I'm not a Bills fan, but I could definitely say I am impressed by how they shut down, Ross and Andy Dalton. And that's another really, really underrated team in the NFL right now is the Buffalo Bills. People need to go respect the Bills because they are doing something with that defense that is fantastic, and it's fun to watch. They're fun football. If Josh Allen can elevate his game to being more than just kind of a I don't really know what to say. If Josh Allen just keeps up good playing, they're going to be a good team, especially in the AFC East when their only competition is the New England Patriots. So next we have the Detroit Lions, who I squeaked a win against the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz was trying everything he could. Aguilar had some missed drops or some missed catches. I'm not worried about the Philadelphia Eagles, but you got to win this one at home, especially in front of your fans, man. Again, like Alan was saying, Matt Patricia got his win against Philly. Good for them. Lions win this 27-24. The New York Jets ended up losing with their starting quarterback Luke Falk, who played for Washington State University, who played New England at home. New England put up 30, so New England won this one 30-14. When you throw your quarterback to the Wolves like that in New England, I didn't expect the Jets to win. Le'Veon Bell did not get anything going. Neither did Jamison Crowder or Robbie Anderson. They just did not look, good at all. But I do have a lot of hope for the Jets this year, so I'm not writing them off yet. The Oakland Raiders ended up losing by 20 in Minnesota to the Vikings 34-14. Kirk Cousins is doing great. Dalvin Cook is doing great. He's actually leading rush yards so far this year. He has 375 yards. Wow, good for him. Dalvin Cook is eating, you look at the rush yards, you got Christian McCaffrey with 318 and then Marlon Mack with 299, and Dalvin Cook is a good 60 yards ahead. That's pretty good for him. So if the Minnesota Vikings are going to have a good rushing offense like that, why change anything and try to throw it? Adam Thielen had a great game too. Moving into this game should have been the game of the week. This should have been Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football was interesting though, let me add. But this was the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. The final score was 28-33 Chiefs. Here's my I'm gonna say my Ravens bias first, and then I'm gonna give you guys what actually happened. I saw a lot of flags in this game, a lot of missed calls. Matt Judon actually got a tackle on Mahomes on a 4th and goal, and it was one of those tackles like where else was he supposed to grab, and he grabbed like on the upper arm, and like if that was Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson, Case Keenum, Luke Falk, Gardner Minshew, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson would even get that call. But, I felt like they were giving him a lot of plays. They did give us a good first down call, let me say. It wasn't all one-sided, but there was a couple big calls that, could have very well erased some of these points. Mahomes looked great. As much as I want to hate on the guy for beating my favorite team, he played great. There was nothing I could really say about he's just a good quarterback. He's in a good system, and he makes the system even better with his play. I'm not trying to hype him up too much, but yeah, he did great. When you have a secondary as good as Baltimore's and the way they used their offense and had big plays, it was cool to see, even as a losing fan. Chiefs win this, and they continue to be 3-0, and they have played Jacksonville, Oakland, and Baltimore so far. So far, I think they're the most convincing 3-0 team, other than the Niners and the Bills. And all the 3-0 teams are pretty convincible. Moving into the next part, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Colts. Marlon Mack put on a show. Jacoby Brissett put on a show. And before we talk about how I don't really like Atlanta, but they did do great decent in this game. They didn't win. But, the thing is with Jacoby Brissett, he balled out. At a time, he was 9 for 9 with like 112 yards and a TD. Like, that is almost perfect. That is perfect, 9 for 9. And a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett played out of his mind, and I just really like the young defense over there in Indianapolis with Darius Leonard and friends. As for Atlanta, they came back a little too late. They should have kicked this in a little to gear. Moving into Denver at Green Bay. Green Bay ended up winning this one 27-16 against Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco tried to get things going against Green Bay, and he's actually now 0-3 against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers he knows how to beat Joe Flacco. I know he's not technically playing Joe Flacco because they're both the quarterbacks, but you know what I mean. Green Bay's rushing attack looked pretty good. not so much like fantasy wise, but more of just like making them respect the run. And Green Bay's defense is kind of looking like the New England story. Like, Aaron Rodgers, if you give him a good defense, the team's going to be good. So, yeah. Packers win this one 27-16. Dallas Cowboys played the Miami Dolphins. We all know about the Dolphins so far. They're not doing too great. But yeah, the Dolphins lose this one 6-31. And Dak Prescott put on a show. Tony Pollard came in and had more fantasy points than Ezekiel Elliott. I was a little triggered because I actually have Ezekiel Elliott on my team. But yeah, there isn't really much to be said by either than Dak and Amari had a really good connection this game, and the Dolphins didn't look too great. Moving into the Giants at Buccaneers, this was a super entertaining game. I hope everyone was able to watch this one. Daniel Jones had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. People who do not know who Daniel Jones is the new rookie quarterback for the New York Giants, and the New York Giants have had Eli Manning starting at, he's a 2-time Super Bowl, I think he's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, but they might have gave one to Cruz. I don't know. I could totally be wrong. But, yeah, he took over, and they won a game, and they were in a drought, and they lost their number 1 running back, and he's out to 6 to 8 weeks, and 4 to 8 weeks, and he came in, and he did a great job. Good job, Giants. They ended up beating the Bucs. The Bucs hung on, but the Giants just came on and just had a great game. The Bucs missed a game-winning field goal. Mike Evans had like 40 points in fantasy. He was going in. Yeah, the Bucs. I feel bad for Mike Evans because he put on a show, but it just was not enough. Moving into the next game, we had the Carolina Panthers against the Arizona Cardinals. Christian McCaffrey had a great game. And let me talk about Kyle Allen, dude. Kyle Allen is the new quarterback for the Carolina Panthers as Cam Newton is out, and he had 4 TDs and 261 yards. If you're telling me he's going to do that every game, would I start Cam Newton? Yeah, I don't know. I also don't believe that Cam Newton is 100% healthy, and I hope he is, but the Cam Newton I know and the Cam Newton I've always cheered for, you would not even think about putting any other quarterback in. He single-handedly, I think, carried that Carolina team to the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning that one year. And he just took the L, and I'm sad for him because he doesn't have much to show for his fantastic young years. So the Carolina Panthers ended up winning this one in Arizona 38-20. Pittsburgh Steelers went into the San Francisco 49ers Levi Stadium, and they took the L to the Niners by 4. Like I said before, Kyle Juszczyk had a pretty big play, but stiff arm. May I highlight, shout out to Kyle Juszczyk for that play, a great play. One of my favorite players, if not probably my second or first favorite player in the league. Fun stuff to watch. San Francisco looked all right. They kind of hung on a little bit with Jimmy G kind of playing, a little lopsided, but hey, win's a win. 24-20 49ers. The Saints came into Seattle, and what do we know about Seattle? Seattle, does not try for the first 3.5 quarters, and then they somehow score out of their ass like they do every game. Like, you could watch the third and fourth quarter of a Seattle game, you'll be just as entertained. But they ended up losing 33-27 to Teddy Bridgewater and Alvin Kamara. Things just weren't looking right for Seattle. Just anywhere. Russell Wilson was basically running for his life. But again, Saints win this one in Seattle, 33-27. Next, we had the Texans at Chargers. The Texans ended up winning this game. Deshaun Watson put on a show. And also, I just really like how the defense played. They put the defense in, hold on. They put it up to the defense at the end of the game. And that was pretty cool to see that Houston's defense was the reason they won at the end, shutting down Rivers, and they ended up winning this one 27-20. I didn't watch too much of this game, but again, Texans win this game 27-20 in LA. Another game we had was LA Rams at the Cleveland Browns. Sunday Night Football has not been in Cleveland for 11 whole years. That is crazy. So, yeah, it's really cool to see the Browns got a Sunday night game. They ended up taking the L, but, that's exposure. That's really cool. The whole league gets to see them. They're on the spotlight. Todd Gurley did not have a game at all. I'm starting to believe that Todd Gurley is injured, and they just don't want to say it to the public. So, Rams won this one 20-13. Goff, kind of got bailed out there. As of right now, the Monday night is currently being played, but I believe the Chicago Bears won this game in Washington. I should have waited till after the game. You know what? We can actually check right now. The score of the Chicago Bears game is 31-15. Khalil Mack had 2 forced fumbles and I think 2 sacks last time I checked. Why are you not putting 2 guys on Khalil Mack? I don't know. It's just one of those things, I guess, if you ask me. So now we got NFL Week 4 picks. Yes, it's that time of the week. Thursday Night Football, we got Eagles at Packers. Who are we going for? Going Green Bay. Next, we got Titans at Falcons. I'm going to go Falcons because I like how Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are, but I don't really like Matt Ryan, but I believe they're going to be enough to beat the Titans. Redskins at Giants. Danny Jones. Got to go Daniel Jones on that game, especially on how Washington played this week. I'm riding the Daniel Jones hype train. LA Chargers at Miami. Going Chargers. I shouldn't have to say much after that, but it's any given Sunday. I like to see how Eckler does, and I like to see how Phillip Rivers does, and if Keenan Allen has, a fraction of what he did this week against the Dolphins, I think they'll be fine. So I'm going Chargers. Oakland Raiders at Colts. Gotta go Colts. I can't pick the Raiders with Jacoby Brissett playing how he is right now. Definitely could go any way, but still gonna go Colts. Panthers at Texans. Going Texans because I love DeAndre Hopkins and I really liked Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I'm going with my gut, going Texans. But I am worried about Christian McCaffrey and Cam Newton, Kyle Allen. I think if Kyle Allen has another 261-yard game and 4 TD games, it's going to be a long shootout game. But I think Houston wins this one in the end. Chiefs at Lions, 2 technically undefeated teams. I'm going Kansas City. Just if Kansas City lit up Baltimore's defense the way he did, I don't think the Lions are going to stop them. And I don't even think I've seen like Kansas City and the Lions play each other. Like as a football fan, like I can't remember the last time I watched that game, so I'm kind of excited to see that game. Then the Browns at Ravens, gotta go with my Ravens, not because just bias. I think the Ravens are gonna be able to stop Odell, Jarvis Landry. This could be a freezing cold take, but I think Marlon Humphrey is gonna at least limit him. As long as the Browns don't play any plays from the Kansas City playbook, we'll be fine. But I think the secondary is gonna get another a boost of okay. We got to get back into this year, and they're going to shut down Baker, and I think the run game with Mark Ingram is going to be a little too much for the Browns. Then we have, for the last 10 a.m. game, we have the Patriots at Bills. I'm going Bills because I really like to see them win in Orchard Park, new era. Josh Allen hopefully plays great. It's so hard to pick against New England, man. I'm not a New England Patriots fan. I'm still going Bills though. You gotta go with your gut, and my gut, looked at the Bills, so I'm going Bills. Then we got the Buccaneers at Rams. I'm going Rams. I just believe the offense is too high powered for the Bucs. Seahawks at Arizona. This is going to be a good game, I believe. I'm gonna go Seattle just because of Bobby Wagner. That defense alone right there is gonna be a lot for Kyler Murray to look at. Arizona has a pretty good, passing attack, and David Johnson, of course, but I think Seattle gets the edge on this, and I think Russell Wilson leads the team to a late win. They're going to be down 3, and Russell Wilson's going to go down there and score him a touchdown with like 3 minutes left, and then they're going to like pick it off or fumble him or something like that. Vikings at Bears. I'm going to go Bears with just how they played with tonight. If Khalil Mack can do that against the Vikings, I think they'll be fine. But it's going to be a good matchup. I know the Bears have HaHa Clinton Dix back there now. The Vikings have Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Kyle Rudolph. A lot of great players, but I think the Bears are going to be able to shut that down. That defense over there is fantastic with Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack, Hakeem Nicks, or however you say his name. They have a great defense over there, so I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm glad this is an afternoon game for sure, but I'm going Bears. Jacksonville Jaguars at Broncos. Got to go with the Jags right now with the red-hot Gardner Minshew. He's doing really great right now. The iron's hot right now. Keep it up. If you keep up this level of play, you might even just start over Nick Foles. So keep up the offense over there in Jacksonville. The Broncos don't even have a sack yet. That's a statistic I wrote with Chubb and Miller. It's a little crazy. I'm not really worried too much about it, though, to be honest with you. Cowboys at Saints. Last year the Cowboys beat the Saints. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game again. I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to be. Yeah, I am going to go the Cowboys this week because I like to see the test they have against the Saints. But they're in New Orleans with Alvin, against Alvin Kamara, and then Teddy Bridgewater. So yeah, I'm going to go Dallas with Dak Prescott. Jalen Smith on defense, Leighton Vander Esch back there, Byron Jones. I like the matchup. I'm really glad this is going to be Sunday night, though. This is going to be a good game. So I'm going to go Cowboys. And then for Monday night, we have an AFC North division rival game. Cincinnati Bengals at Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go Cincy just because of John Ross. John Ross has actually been I've really liked how he's been playing, and I really hope to see him tear up the Steelers. I hope this game ends in a tie as a Ravens fan, but as a weekly take host, I'm going to go Bengals. So again, if you guys want to hear who I have the Packers, the Falcons, the Giants, the Chargers, the Colts, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, the Rams, the Hawks, the Bears, the Jags, the Cowboys, and the Bengals. Wow, man, it's weekly take, man. It's getting fun. I'm upset I didn't get you to you guys last week, but let's get into a little bit of college football notes. Not too much. Just wanted to give you guys a couple headlines here real quick. The Martin meltdown in WSU. I have to bring up. The score was 67-65. WSU ended up losing to the UCLA Bruins, and that was a long game to watch as a Wazoo fan. But props to UCLA and them coming back like that. But just letting you know, it stings a little bit. And then De'Aaron King from Houston wants to transfer. Where will he transfer? It's the De'Aaron King transfer sweepstakes, apparently. That's pretty cool. I mean, what if he goes to like a powerhouse or something? What if he came to WSU? That'd be kind of cool. Notable losses and wins. Jim Harbaugh's Michigan loses to number 8 Wisconsin. I feel bad for Jim Harbaugh because I'm a huge Jim Harbaugh fan. John Harbaugh is the coach of the Ravens, and Jim Harbaugh is his brother. They played against each other in the Super Bowl. That was really cool to see when he was the coach for the 49ers. But I'm here to say that when Jim Harbaugh was in the league, if he wasn't the best coach, he was at least the second best coach behind Belichick. He brought a team to an NFC divisional championship and lost because a ball hit a guy on the knee on an onside kick. So he was an onside kick away from being in the Super Bowl one year. Goes to the Super Bowl. No. Goes to the Super Bowl. No. Goes to the NFC Division Championship against the Seattle Seahawks, against Richard Sherman and the Legion of Boom. He's a tipped pass away from going to another Super Bowl. And then he goes to the Super Bowl and loses to the Ravens and almost won that game. If that isn't enough proof to say he's a good coach, then I don't know what is. They did have a great team. Colin Kaepernick, Frank Gore, Delaney Walker. They even had Randy Moss on that team. They had Patrick Willis, Ahmad Brooks, Alden Smith, Navarro Bowman. They had a stacked team. They had Dante Whitner at the time. That was a stacked team. And they had Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis and Delaney Walker were on that San Francisco team. That's insane. So Michigan loses to Wisconsin. Number 7 Auburn beats Texas A&M. Georgia beats number 10 Notre Dame. Georgia is now ranked 3. And then USC beats number 19th ranked Utah. NBA news. Oh, wait, before we get to the NBA news, let's do the thing that we do in every episode. It's that time of the episode where we pick a team out of all the NFL teams in this little bag here. Bag, I don't know, whatever you guys say. And things, so we're going to pick a team, and I'm going to talk about why I like that team. It's going to be any team, and I'll tell you why I like them. Dallas. Okay, so I'm going to be talking why I like Dallas. And now for the team I'm going to hate on. I should look away. The Rams. Okay, I could do that. Okay, Dallas Cowboys. The reason I like them is because they picked me. They had me with Ezekiel Elliott. I really like Ezekiel Elliott's game, and I think he's a great player. He's not really a great guy off field, enough his off-field antics. He held out for the right reasons, and he got his money. Good for him. I mean, the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in sports in the country. I'm really scraping here. They have history. That's all I really got, man. I mean, Dak Prescott's playing great right now. Amari Cooper's playing great. They got a good, promising young defense. They got a good team on paper. They could definitely go far in the playoffs, but that's as far as on paper goes. If we're going on paper, then Cleveland should be, winning with that offense they have. But it's the NFL. Any given Sunday. That's why they say it. The Rams. Why do I hate the Rams? Oh, man, I could give you countless of reasons. I don't like Jared Goff at all. I think he's kind of a system quarterback, and it bums me out to see him give a ring to Tom Brady. That's why I'm kind of a Rams hater. I was born and raised over by Seattle, and I had to watch them play the Seahawks twice a year every year, and it's just annoying seeing them. It was just, it's like they try to make it a rivalry with Seattle, but they're either too good and they beat Seattle, or they're too bad. So there's never really good games unless they were both bad. I do remember when Charlie Whitehurst gave the Rams an L the year to bring the Seahawks to the NFC wild card. That was pretty cool. The year they made it 7-9 and the Beachquake happened. That was pretty cool. Thanks to the Rams for that one. But yeah, I mean, I just don't really like the Rams. I don't think they should be in LA either. I think they should be in St. Louis or somewhere else. Like, get another place. But they're about to get a new stadium, so I'm about to eat my shoe on that one. NBA news before you guys go. IT is out 6 to 8 weeks with an injury, and then also IT is Isaiah Thomas, the shorter point guard from Boston Celtics. He played for University of Washington. And Vince Carter is calling it a swan song season. So that means it is his last season, and he is going to call it quits after this season. That guy can dunk the basketball. If you want to be amazed at some basketball highlights, go look at that guy dunk the ball, man. He's fucking nuts. Again, guys, this is episode 44 of the Weekly Take Podcast. My name is Dominic Joseph. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, remember, you guys can call into the show. Go to the Instagram page and click the contact button below and let me know what you guys think about what's going on in sports. Tell me what's going on with your favorite team. Maybe you didn't like the call. We'll talk about the call and everything. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great one. Bye.